Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. And we've got, well, the tournament's already started. It started a couple of days ago, but I'm afraid there's been, the open golf's been on, so I've spent most of my time watching it. I'm going to have a quick drink. But we're back for another, well, sort of, what would you call this, stand-in big tourney. The one that effectively replaces the one that never finished. Tonight we've got a second round match, and it's a second round match in the World Series of World Series of Pool 9-ball tournament. It was a tournament that had 64 spots. It didn't get anywhere near that. I think we got maybe 30 something. And in the meantime, we've had the first round draw. There's a lot of byes, and there's also been one or two results. I missed a match with Albinario and Bill. Albinario got through that 18-11. There's the match we're watching tonight is between Mal and MC Clarkey, or McClarkey as I'll keep calling him because it's easier to say that than MC. And then we've got the rest of the second round matches further down the bracket. Stubb did sign up, which is why I bailed out, because I didn't know what the story was behind it, so I made sure I get out anyway. And there's a couple other matches set. That one between Bankster and Simanx isn't for a while. And I think that's pretty much it. Spectrodon got through against Shaft Cracks. Oh, there was a match this morning supposed to be played. Good evening, Hazad. There was a match this morning that was scheduled, and I probably can't find it for looking at it, but it was a match between it was a match between Shibo and Ice Age, but Shibo told me this morning he had accepted the match like an hour before he was in the lobby this morning. And of course that didn't give Ice Age much time to get sorted out, and he's down in Australia. So it looks at, well, it has been, it's been reset, and they've agreed another day for that. Well, tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And it's now tomorrow at 1:12 PM in the afternoon, so it's already been changed again because it wasn't that time earlier on. But anyway, no matter. Welcome everybody, or welcome whoever's arrived and I've missed them. But the room should be going up. We'll cover the general rules in this because I'm just ad-libbing here. I'm assuming it's still alternate break. It's a quick shot clock, not fast enough for me, I have to say. And no jump cues, alternate break, no jump cues, lag for break, and that's about it. And I'm going to have to change the cloth colour, I think. Now, how's the sound, guys? The audio okay? Well, what a finish to that F1 race, eh? Did you watch that? I watched all of that. Well, this will be my last night on holiday. My 2 weeks are up tonight, back to work tomorrow. So early to bed, pretty much not long after this is going to be finished. The room's up, we'll get in, we'll get the cloth changed if I can in time. Let's see if we can. Miscellaneous, blue, there we go. And of course this is the first big tournament to be played with the update that we had. Now you see Mal, now there's something to pay attention to. Watch how Mal's breaking, because again I think he's putting too much top in the cue ball. Pay attention to that, because I did quite a lot of practicing on this break. Not that I noticed any great deal of difference, but the one thing you can't be doing is letting the cue ball run forward towards the pack when you're breaking. Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster most times. I don't know who's who, by the way. I haven't got a clue. But that lag there in the bottom was absolute garbage. Well, there you go. Well, obviously Mal doesn't practice his lags. That was horrible. So here we go, guys. And I don't know whether McClarkey's... See, he's breaking over to the far side. You've got a lot of dud breaks doing that as well. You still do. I get quite a few. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it doesn't work, more often than not, it's quite heavy. So, ball in the break. And nicely on the one. And that's one thing I'm going to be keeping an eye on, is how Mal's breaking. Because that's what he was doing in the last big tournament. He was going forward an awful lot in one of his matches. I think I said something to him at the time. But we'll see if he changes his ways. Good evening to Semi-Pro. Of course, being alternate break, it's even more vital that when you get your break, you get a ball, a shot and a run. Well, this 3-ball, this is just a testy one, this one, because I mean, there's plenty of room, but it's the usual, the 4-ball doubles in size when you're trying to squeeze the 3 past it. Now he needs to keep going. Now, this is a problem. He's got to make a decision. He's got to try and drop behind a 5 for any of the pockets up the table, or he's going to have to get up the table as straight as he can for the combo. So he has to make his mind up. Can't go halfway houses here. And he's overhit it. And now he's... Well, he's still going to take this up top left. Because he can... the problem now, though, is does he want to run it in gentle, or does he want to stun it in? He should be stunning it, but the danger at this distance is we could hang it up in the pocket. He's looking at the other pocket, that he can hold the cue ball over to the right. Yeah, it looks like it's what he's doing now. He's going left to go right, if you know what I mean. He's got to be careful here. He's got to get this thin enough to cut it, and that means the cue ball's running loose. And watch this middle pocket, because it's thin enough that he could scratch. Well, there's the commentator. The commentator calls it again, and that's a big mistake already. First rack against the break, and McClarkey's thrown it away by the usual method, just not getting the right shape. So Mal has a bonus of a start. Yeah, I don't think the extensions are going to last too long in this tournament. I think the extensions will be eaten up very quickly. Was that know where Cilla Black died? She died in Spain. And she was probably, I mean, that's probably a big cover-up. She was probably half pissed and fell down the stairs. That's really what happened to Cilla. She was pissed out her head in sangria, took a tumble down the stairs, boom, gone. Well, that has to get cover. So remember, no jump cues. So got to get your kicking boots on. and Mal's going to scratch. So McClarkey's got his chance to redeem himself. Now, one ball down the table on the left hand side for the 2. I wouldn't believe he's trying to squeeze that past the 4 because it ain't going, it's too tight. And then the problem is got to get up the table and has to avoid that 4 ball to have any shot in the 3. Yeah, you see that always puts a doubt in your mind, and he's underhit it, and the mistakes are there. That's too soon by McClarkey. That doubt is in his mind when the 4 ball's sitting there, because you're looking to take evasive action to avoid it, and in the end he was sort of half measures in both, and he should be punished for it again. So that's 2 racks that McClarkey should have won, and they've gone south, and Mal won't be caring. He's only going to do what he's meant to do, just knock balls into holes. Well, he's gone a bit straight here. He just managed to pinch a bit. So not a very confident start here for MC McClarkey. And in goes the 9. Well, the only thing I can comment on is the fact that if you look at the rack, at the beginning of the rack itself, you'll notice the rack isn't getting tilted as much. Whether he's done anything else to it, I don't know. But you'll notice it won't be quite as obvious that it's tilted. At least I sat all through 4 hours of Friday Night 9 Ball there a couple of days ago, and I never noticed any big sort of discrepancies in the angle of the rack. So that might be one change that he's done just to straighten it up. But what else he's done, we don't know, because he hasn't told us anything other than what it says in the support page in the update. It just tells you he's updated it to make it more consistent. No, the slug racks are still there. Again, especially if you break from the close to the rail, because as I said, I practiced for an hour or so trying to find my way around it, and I didn't notice any major change there. So this is a point already for MC McClarkey looking to get off the line, and when they race to 18, it's the usual thing. You can't be panicking to get off the line. There's a long way to go, but what you need to be doing is cutting out those errors. Well, looking at the 4 ball, 4 ball's no good. It's not doing anything, so he can try and tuck this cue ball away. And that's a good shot. Although I think there's a tiny edge, but of course the tiny edge that's shown, Mal's going to have to be careful because he can easily just drop in the hole. So he's trying to stun this to the right and hold the cue ball. Not a great deal more he could have done there, but he might have got away with that. Well, he certainly has done into the middle. But again, there's no advantage in... I'm going to call him Matt. That's better. There's no advantage in Matt potting the 3. There's no chance of getting to the 4, so he might as well just punch that up into the 6 and 4 and try and get back behind the 8 and 5. Maybe he's not got enough room to work with. You see, he's maybe put himself in trouble here doing that, because the one thing that I don't think Mal is going to go all out to break it out. Well, he is going all out, and he might be in trouble. No. Let's have a look. Don't tell me he can get to that. No, he can't. But had that landed better, Mal could have put Matt in a lot of trouble. Ah, there's the combo. Now, again, it's up and down the table here. Got to get that 4 to the hole and let the cue ball run. But you see, he's done it wrong. He's done it completely wrong. He had to get that 4 in with the pace for the cue ball to come off the rail and back up. That cue ball had to go there. That's not a line. This is a line. It had to go there and back up. He's leaving himself in a hole, and now he's sold the third rack as well. And they're entirely the wrong shot with that 4 ball. You must, or whatever ball it was, but you must get the cue ball up the table off the top rail and back into the table so that you're playing that ball into the top left hand pocket. He's not thinking. And it's 3 racks have gone south for Matt. They could all been his, and not putting any pressure on Mal with this sort of start. Good evening to Keith. So it's 3 racks, 3 big errors, and 3-0 down. That's the story of the match so far. And Mal with the 5 ball in the break. The bank is very inviting considering where the 2 is. Well, again, in this case he wasn't interested. And once again, Matt comes to the table with a gentle cut in the 1. He might just brush off the 8, but he'll hold for the 2. And dare I say it, if he gets this 1 ball and gets on the 2, he's going to come down the left hand side for the 3. He's got to get this rack done and dusted. He's got the nice angle. Now, he doesn't want to run too far to the left here with this shot, and I mean the left rail, because he can catch that middle knuckle. He's got the pace right, but the problem again is he's stuck to the rail, so now he's limited in getting good position, because he's going to have to go forward and around. Once again, it's down the left hand side, missing the 7 ball to get this 6 ball into the corner. I think he should be okay looking at this. Again, he's not hitting it hard enough for me. He needs to get there just to make it a wee bit simpler. Just about another 5 or 6 inches up the table. Maybe I'm being a bit picky, but he wants to just be making his life easier to get himself started. Dare I say it, he should be home and dry here. Just totally dead weight. Well, he chose to stun it. Yeah, keep looking at the rack. That's another one that's fairly straight, and Matt's over to the right side again for this. See how the balls don't spread great, but you know, these slug breaks that Steve was talking about, you'll still get them. You'll still get them. But ball in the break doesn't matter. Now this one here, he wants to come back 2 or 3 inches just so that he's rolling the 4 into the middle and staying on the 5 rather than running away from it. That might be just a wee bit too much, it is. Now just nice and gentle, and that'll get him there. Now this is a critical one. He's got to go, well, even if you went off the rail, the angle's too much. He's got to be hitting the 9 or the 7. Yeah, and he's hung the 5 in the process. Well, he can't settle, and each time you're making these unforced errors, the less settled you become. He needs to go and get a damp cloth and wipe his soul down, waking himself up. Well, in terms of the improvement in the brake, you can sort of delude yourself into thinking you're getting more balls. I mean, as I say, I broke for an hour and had a sequence where I was getting 1 and 2 balls in the brake. You know, maybe 6 or 7 racks in a row, but then it just dies. And then I was getting dead brakes from the side rail. I was getting the 9 ball. As we look up the table from this side, I was getting the 9 ball to go to the corner, or to the left corner here as you look at the bottom of the screen. I had the 9 ball, and I had a couple of 9 balls in the brake doing that. So, Mal's 4-1 up, and every single rack that Mal has on the board, it was a case of help yourself from Matt, who's been more than generous. And Mal's taking his eye off the ball, trying to just nudge full ball, I think, onto the 7 there to hold for the 3, and I don't think he's held for the 3 anyway. Or has he? No, he hadn't. So this time, it's up to Matt to try and rescue the situation before we get a crisis here. 4-1 isn't a crisis, and it can easily be remedied, but these unforced errors have got to go for his own sake. I think he's been mucking about with the pace of his mouse, by the way. Everything's stroking a lot slower. Oh dear. Well, that was dodgy. Now here he goes. If it's the stun draw, he's going to run through. That was a safer shot. If he had that slight angle, that was a safer shot. Just to let the cue ball run through. And this is a crucial one, which still can go wrong. It's amazing how it does. Well, it might be a mixture of both, but you know, this looks so easy to get on the 9. He's going to leave himself the bedhead zone. Oh, these are dodgy. Watch the cue ball though, and it goes. So, trailing by 2. But of course, with that, then with this type of tournament, you can't get any momentum. It's broken up every time. He's now won a rack, and the break goes to Mal. And I don't think Mal's getting any luck here. Doesn't look like it. Break's dry. Now, well, he can certainly tuck the 1 ball in behind the 8 and in towards the 5. He's tried to tuck the cue ball away, and he hasn't got there. And the only problem with that is the 1's exposed as well. You've got to get the safety, get something tight to something, whether it be the 1 tight to the rail or the cue ball tight to the 4. And if you can't get either, you're just leaving yourself wide open. trouble. Well, he's got away with that. And of course, again, for any latecomers, no jump cues. You can still jump with your play cue, and there's another scratch from Mal. So 2 and 4 sterrers in a row from Mal that have the potential to cost him 2 racks. Now, where's the problem here? Well, the problem is going to have to be the 5 ball, and how you play the 5 ball very much is going to depend on where you are in the 4 ball. And if you can't get there in the 4 ball, you've not got much room to manoeuvre to get to the potting angle in that 5 from either side. You know, if you finish in the bottom rail, you can cut the 5 just about, but that could be the stumbling block. Well, he doesn't want to be. He's going to have to draw straight off this because he can't. He doesn't want to run into the 6. And I think the path that he would want to take the 6 ball's in the way, and he's too straight. He could have tried pinching an angle and spinning off the rail and come that way. Now is the bottom left working? Yes, it is. But where's the cue ball going? Oh dear! It's all gone pear shape. And so Matt's chance has come and gone. Now Mal with ball in hand can obviously make it a lot simpler. Get right down onto the rail. Yeah, just having to bend that a wee bit there. And he's okay. Well, it looks as if at this early stage it's going to be stop-start here for Matt. A couple of errors from Mal as well. But no, this is what I don't like about alternate break in these big tourneys. You can't see a player looking to try and string something together. I don't think it helps either player's rhythm either. With a stop-start, you know, you've just cleared the table and then the break goes south, it goes elsewhere. Well, there's a break with a couple of balls in the break. Is that not it? In fact, the 9 ball went as well, so that's even more bad news for Matt. 6-2 in this race to 18. And now the break is working. Matt's got that one going. And he's going to have to thin cut this 1 ball. And he will be down the right hand side. So again, it's just about the pace. Not interested in it. And again, you see how he's not. I'm telling you, he's changed the sensitivity in his mouse. He must have, because when you start mucking about with sensitivity, you end up doing shots like that. That was the first thing that I thought that came into my head when I seen him playing a couple of shots. And that mistake he's made there is all down to mucking about with the mouse. He might tell me different, but it looks like it to me. Because if you're, again, it's a thing I repeat all the time, if you get your mouse dialed in and you're in full control of the pace of the shot, you're confident enough to play a fairly straightforward shot. As a safety there, and he was miles off it, and he sold another one. I mean, five 5 of these, what, 5, how many is that? 6 of these 7 racks that Mal's got have come, they've come for, from Matt's mistakes. I'll need to ask him. I think he's done something with his mouse, because when I watched him playing, any other time I've seen him playing, he's playing faster than that, and he's stroking the ball faster than that. So the only solution and conclusion I can come to is that the stroke is going through slower because the sensitivity's been dropped down. Again, you see, he's locked. I mean, it's more than obvious you're going to be locked behind a 3 if you don't make sure you get out of there. And this is going to cause more stop-start. Well, I fear for the outcome of this, because if he doesn't sort himself out pretty sharpish, Mal's going to be heading away into the sunset here, without having to break sweat. Well, Mal might even be interested in cutting this 2 into the 7 and playing the combo, because it looks pretty good to me if he can get this nice and tight onto that 6. Or is he trying to drop in behind a 9? Yeah, I mean, the fact that he did, well, Mal's made a hash of that, I think, but he's actually got away with it. Or it worked out fine. But the thing is, he never went for the 1 ball. But see, if you can't make up your mind about doing one thing, then make sure you do the other. And again, indecisive. But, no, take my advice. If you're ever going to be in a tournament, the one thing you don't do is start mucking about with your mouse. You do all that, weeks before any tournament, so that you can get it dialed in again. But there's something not right here from what I'm used to seeing how Matt plays. There's something different, and I'll need a lot of convincing otherwise. Six ball. Well, I don't know whether he played that or he didn't, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about that. It's about what advantage he takes from it. And he's got another problem to deal with. Let's have a look at this 4. Plenty of room there, so not a problem. What's the angle like if we can get this bloody donut to work? Well, that should be fine as well. But he has to leave the angle. He doesn't want to roll right in to be straight in this 4. That's fine. And now the worst thing he'll do here is dig into this cue ball too much and scratch. All you need to do is just come across square and leave the slight cut in the 5. It shouldn't be that much of a problem. And now with this one, how brave are you? If you want to play this with a bit of inside to straighten up, the danger's locking behind the 8. If you want to go around the angles, the danger's locking up behind the 9. So you need to ride your luck here a wee bit, unless you get your pace right. He's going the soft approach. He's leaving it square. And that takes all of that doubt out of the equation. But of course you've got to back it up now, because he's going to come square across the table. You can't do too much with this. He's in no ideal position to get good on this 8. Oh well, that's not ideal. And again, the pressure's on. Trailing 7-2. That's in the back of his mind. Well, at least he's left it difficult. I don't think Mal might. He needs to be careful, Mal, here, if he's going to try and skim down towards the 9, because he could double kiss this 8. If he's thinking of that, he's going all out for the cut. That's a good shot. And Matt's going to be kicking himself. It's another rack gone. And it's more errors that have been so costly. It's 8-2. Now what's happened to Matt? Is he gone? Oh no, there he is. I thought he'd gone. Well, that's a much more open break, but look at the cue ball. Didn't get a hold of it. And all he's done is make it easier. He's made it easier for Mal, because he's rattled in 3 balls in the break. Well, 4 if you include the cue ball, and this is going from bad to worse. And Mal taking the opportunity whenever you can, just to open that 4 ball. Although the 2 is nowhere near easy. Well, 9-2. Halfway home for Mal. How many of these racks are you guys counting that are all straight now? That's another one. I don't think there's been one that's been tilted, and if there has been, it's been very, very slight and I've missed it. But they're all straight now by the look of them. And Mal's break was dry. And Matt, again, he's got a start, but he's got a problem. And he's got to try and get up the table, and he's too straight in this 2 ball. Now, if he draws straight back with a wee bit of bottom left, he'll kick out behind the 9 and the 3 and leave the 3 into the left-hand corner in here. Like that. That will do. That was a shot to get himself into position there. And again, erring on the safer shot by overdrawing it to get into the table, and he's just over hit it a bit much. And now he's got a problem, because this pocket is not easy at that angle, especially the 8 ball hanging about there. He needs to take his time here, because this is not a difficult combo as long as you give it that sort of pace and give it every chance to go in. Now, is he just going to drop through for the middle pocket, or up the table? Oh, he's going behind. That'll do. Well, again, it's a thing I spoke about in the not the last tournament, but the last one that was alternate break. Oh dear. Well, you would think that was easy. He's hung the 9, and now he's really chasing his tail because he can't do anything without the assistance of Mal. And of course, when you're in this desperate situation, you can't be having dry breaks. 10-2. Not fairly tight, is it? And he's got to get this good. That could just catch the point. Well, the only thing that's going to rescue Matt here is that 7 and 9 ball. And Mal taking a liberty there, because that was not the shot to try that. There was no way you could guarantee you were going to have a shot in the 4. Now this is where you take a liberty, because if you can pinch the slight angle and stun off that 4 into the 7 and 9, you'll be on the 5. I don't know whether he can pinch enough of it. Yes, he can. He can do that, no problem. Well, that's just created another problem. He's not getting that run there when he needs it. Okay, the 8 ball's not completely locked off, but he's got to... well, the 7 did go, but that's relying on you getting good on the ball before to get good in it. The safest route was to take all of that out of the equation. But we'll know if it was the right thing or the wrong thing. He's already missed a fairly straight in 9 ball, and now he's going to have to leave the cut in the 8 again. Well, I agree with what you're saying, Keith, but if you look at the way Matt's playing at the moment, is he that reliable enough that he's going to get on that 7? I'm thinking it would have been better to take the opportunity to open it when you had the chance, because you were guaranteed you were going to be in the 5. The difference with that shot was the shot previous to that Mal took. He took a liberty trying to improve things when he didn't need to at that particular point in the rack, and in the end it cost him the rack. So swings and roundabouts. That looks tilted, that rack. That's the first one that I've seen that looks tilted to the left. The one ball was further to the left at the head of the pack than the ball at the back of the pack. But yes, I mean, that's the normal, the normal rules of the game are that if a ball's got a pocket to go into, you don't need to disturb them. But as I say, in the defence of Matt, when he had such a good angle in the 4, I thought it was better that he did get it out of the equation to give him the best chance of running the table. In this case, it worked out. So, still trailing by 7, and a good pot in the 1. Now, you see, this is the same problem he had earlier in the match here. He played the tentative shot rather than going up and down the table. The danger, though, is that 8 ball. If he goes up towards the 5, he'll still have a shot. That'll do. Although he might be a bit straight, but I think he can... Aye, fine. Not a problem. What the hell's happened here with that one? The camera's gone all skew with. That was weird. Listen, guys. You have to accept the commentator's right, because he ran the rack out. That's the end of the argument. Now, do you mean? Oh, is that an L or a T? We're talking about. Are you talking about McClarkey, Cobra? Now again, he needs to have a good look at the 9 just to double check it. Now, when Cobra said, is that a T or an L? Because I'm sitting right in front of this chat text. Aye. Cobra's wrote, Mal is playing his worst match I have seen. Well, I'm assuming he meant Matt McClarkey. Because Mal hasn't played bad apart from a couple of errors. He's had nothing to do other than just clear up the mess that Matt's left to get his 10 racks. Where's the cue ball going? Disaster. So you're coming to the conclusion that Mal's played his worst match you've seen him? He's not had to play yet. Yeah, he could have. He could have. Easily been up, 3-0 definitely. That's Matt we're talking about. But he's made a hash of all those racks. Yeah, maybe that's to do with the. Maybe that's to do with this change in the rack. They're making all sorts of mistakes. Well, there was a little glimmer of hope there for Matt, but that's tilted to the left as well, that rack. So I thought there was more straight racks, but now we've had 2 where they're tilted. Couple of balls in the break, no shot though. Well, I know where I'd be heading off this shot because Mal just put himself into a spot where he could be in trouble in a minute or two. But this 1 ball needs to be banked into the middle of the table to use the 6 ball as cover and bring this cue ball down towards the 2 and 3. Or he can go back to where he is with the cue ball and send a 1 ball down that direction and try and use the 5. But he has to get some sort of cover here because these balls are wide open and the rack will be gone if he leaves this on. I see he's not got there either way, although it's now awkward. Really awkward over this 2 ball. But again, if Matt, I say, can line up when he's gone all out for the pot, I would have went for the thin edge to bring the cue ball back down. And that's this rack gone. No, I haven't seen any matches yet. I certainly didn't see a Ceros match. I'll just stone dead on the cue ball. Well, this match has been on for 47 minutes and it's 12-4 to Mal255. Another one tilted left. That's 3 in a row. Ball in the break, shot in the one. Well, maybe not. That 6 ball has just ran. It has just ran and blocked a line. Well, we know what should be happening here. I mean, this should be a lock-up every day of the week. Well, Mal left himself open to that one. Matt, I should say. I'm getting mixed up with Matt's and Mal's now. And this is another one gone. Ball in hand. Straight across to the left side for the 3. And the road is clear ahead for Mal to march on. This is going to go straight, I think. No, slight angle. Now, does he want to risk stunning this in and coming across for the 8 ball, or just nudge it in? He's just nudging it in. Well, McClarkey has got a slim to 0 chance of getting into this match at this stage. Mal is just 5 away. Dry break. Now, does that one pass the 5? Yes, it does. He's got a chance here. Where's the cue ball going? That'll do. Oops. Now the 4 goes past the 5 up the top end, so there's not a problem there. Now is this straight on the 3? Can he draw back and miss the 7? Not a problem. Now, so this 5 ball going into the same pocket, as long as he's got a good angle and comes over to the left middle pocket, he'll be on the 6. And that angle will do nicely. Well, I would still want it to be up the table another foot with this shot, because he's now going around the angles here, unless he checks this up. He's checked it up. Well, is this just another consolation rack for MC Clarkey? He's 5 on the board. Mal with 13. This time the rack has gone against the break. You see, there's another dud one where those central balls have all just died in a cluster. 2 ball down, no shot, and I don't think he can see the 1, and he's going to be in trouble here. This 1 ball's coming back towards the cluster, or towards the 7 and the cue ball up the table if he can get that angle. But he's leaving the cue ball here. That'll do it. Same outcome. Matt in a hole. Now what he doesn't want to do is disturb anything on this cluster if he can help it. So he doesn't want to go bashing balls around. He'd probably be better just to maybe try and make it worse in that cluster. That might help. Well, that's left it awkward. That's actually not a bad foul. It's left a problem. There's no guarantee the outcome, but Mal certainly has the angle to nudge into the 8. Whether that'll do anything to the 4, we don't know. Yeah, I think he had sort of doubts as well as to whether he'd actually have a shot in the 4 there. But again, whenever there's a doubt and you have the opportunity, do the right thing. Make sure your opponent can't do anything. And Matt certainly got no chance of hitting this 3. I would just nudge the cluster together here. I would bide my time. Well, he's hit it, but all he's done is left everything open now. I would have locked it up. 4 ball goes, no problem. And everything else goes after that. I presume the 5 goes past the 7. No, it doesn't, so he's got to just... Well, that's why he's ended up playing the safety, because he had the wrong angle in the 4 to get good in the 5. So, but this time, it's not difficult to hit the 4, and this could go in. It's an easy kick in the 4, just past the left side of that 6. Well, now it should be all over. He should have played that a wee bit closer to the 6 ball, so the line was going to come more full in the face onto that 4 ball. At least that was the line that I saw with the shot. But this is the one that will decide the rack. Where's that cue ball going? He's okay. I think he's going to have to punch this a bit. Yeah, he's just going to leave it long. Simple solution. Don't try and do too much when there's an easier way to deal with the problem. Just roll it up the table. And now it's 14 racks to 5. And the ball's all spreading this time, but none going to a pocket. Not a problem to hit the 1. Yeah, it's just a case of that happening, where if that 1 ball passes the 8, then Matt can put Mal in trouble again. And it isn't though. Just that again, that was, look at that for a shot. There's a player that's been playing virtual pool for as long as I have, and some of you other guys, and look at that duff shot he's just played there. No confidence in his stroke whatsoever to play that there. And it brings me back to the same conclusion I've come to, that he's been mucking about with the mouse. And he may tell me different, but I'm convinced he has been. Definitely. Well, this is the problem shot. This is dead straight. And look where the 6 ball is. And that 6 ball, you see, that's the only outcome here. I mean, that was obvious. You've got to get the big draw to at least give yourself a pot shot at the 6. And so the lifeline has been given to Matt. The 6 is off the rail. He's got ball in hand. You do it, see, are you using a new mouse, Matt? I don't mean a mouse mat, I just mean a mouse mat. But I knew straight away. I could tell straight away you've been mucking about or doing something. No doubt in my mind, because I know how a lot of the guys play. I know what the stroke's like when they're in flow, and immediately knew that you've been mucking about or you've changed the mouse or done something. These guys wouldn't believe me. They're putting it down to being tentative. I'm just putting it down to having no confidence whatsoever in playing the shot. And there's been 2 or 3 shots where they've been duffed because you're not stroking it through. And the simple reason for that is you haven't played with the mouse long enough to get the stroke. So the outcome's destined to be disastrous against somebody like Mal. Yeah. Well, good evening to Hair Pig. So Mal still has a lead, 14 racks to 6. And Matt has locked himself again on the 2. Needs to miss the 6. That, if it's got the legs, will go, but it ain't going to get there. Now, can Matt pinch another one back? It's damage limitation here. Oh dear. Again, that is so easy to happen because you're spinning it around the angles. You've got to make that allowance for that little deflection. And the chance is gone. Now Mal can only do what he's supposed to do. Just run the racks when you're given the chance. Tidy up what's left when you're given a chance. And get 15 racks on the board. Well, the 1 and the 2 have gone. And the 3 has gone right in behind the 9. Well, the obvious thing here is that Matt can return the push out, but if he does, all that Mal's going to do is just bounce off the bottom rail and spin into the 3 gentle and leave no shot on. Oh, Or Matt could do that and play a half decent safety. Well, Mal, with the touch of a sledgehammer, has hung the 3 over the pocket. He's conceded the ball in hand. Now Matt, well, this is where you're riding a lot of luck here. He can thin cut the 3, try and break out the 5, and get lucky he's still got a shot in the 4. And I think that's backfired. He's got a shot in the 4, but I think the 6 is encroaching on that 5 ball. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, but then again, he's in good shape to put Mal in trouble. Well, I would just brush the top side of that 5. Oh, he's gone the other way. Oh, I think he's... I don't think there's enough there of that 5 ball. He's got away with that. Well, the idea was good there from Mal. But once again, Matt could just skim the 5. And again, this is where you have to have confidence in the stroke. These are dodgy shots when you've got a dodgy new mouse. Is trying to just skim that that edge of the 5. And that's backfired as well, has it? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think he thought he could maybe squeeze it through, but it wasn't going. Well, this is a testy one. Into a blind pocket in the middle. Got to keep a control in the cue ball here. Well, where's he ended up? Nowhere. And this is dodgy to get safe. Now, can he just skim past that 7 and not scratch? That needs to spin inside. I don't think it's got anything on it, has it? Well, it might just have enough. Yes, he's got away with that one. Cracking shot. Always a chance of that happening. If you can get it flush, full in the face, just kick it up the rail. So Mal is within 2 of round 3. Couple of balls into either corner there. Shot in the 1. I'm going to tempt fate here. He should be out. Well, I suppose the target here for Matt would be to try and get to double figures. That would be a good goal to aim for. But of course now the break goes back to Mal. Leading by 16 racks to 7. a fairly straight rack this time. Again, you get some racks where the ball just spread all over the place, and you get others where they're not inclined to move that far at all. But the 2 ball has gone. No shot for Mal, just to push out. I think is he trying to thin this down the rail? Can he see enough of that? Yes, he can. Need to watch the scratch though in the middle. Yeah, very ambitious. I think if he'd put him back in, Mal would have went for the same shot. And Mal's made another mistake. It wasn't a gimme, that one, but he's pretty much got away with it. I mean, that's really tight to try and drop that in dead weight. I suppose you could go all out and go for the cross double. It's dead weight off the jaw. That's a good one. Excuse me. Well, you do need to, you know, there's a lot of players like that in VP4 where they don't take enough time to assess a shot. Well, if it don't rain, it pours. Another one goes. So Mal will be on the hill. And this match is an hour and 10 minutes old. Something get kicked in the middle there. What was that? The 2. And of course now, Matt's at the point of no return. Even if he gets the 3, he's running into the 9. And all you've got is a 4-7 combo down this end. Yeah, the angle's nowhere near good. That's about as good as you could expect. Now, this is a make or break shot. 5 balls awkward, even if he gets this combo. And the 4 balls not guaranteed to stay good, but it has done. And so the one that's going to clinch the rack, or should do, is from this 4 to the 5. Now, well, I suppose getting to the bottom of the table here would be the safest route. If you can get to the bottom, you'll have some sort of shot. And he's got a shot. Now I think there's only a couple of matches on the bracket that have got a set time to be played. I don't know what my shifts are for next week until I go back tomorrow anyway, but I think there's one on in the middle. I think that match with Shibo and Ice Age is tomorrow afternoon, our time, or UK time. Well, Matt has got himself to 8 racks. Break goes back to Mal. But it's no go. Now, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. Push the 1 safe to the top rail and drop in behind the 6. Well, he's gone all out for the combo. And he can consider himself lucky there that he didn't leave that 1 ball on. Is Mal trying to hit this hard enough to... No, he isn't. He's trying to just drop in. I thought he was going to go all out for the win there, but again, the lock-up will do nicely. And of course now, in this position, there's nothing safe on the table. Although Matt could roll the 8 ball towards the 2 and sacrifice ball in hand, which would be my plan, because I'd be giving up the idea of trying to get to that 1. And I don't think he's made a particularly great job of that. And mind you, there doesn't look an awful lot of room to get there to the 2. He might have got away with it, but of course the obvious outcome is, with Mal not having a shot to clear the table, that is, then he'd an easier shot to lock Matt back up, and it might end up in 3 fouls. That's the risk you take. Sometimes when you get desperate enough, that's all you have to take. And it is going to end in 3 fouls, because Mal's going to nail that cue ball. But if he leaves the right side rail exposed, then it's not quite as difficult to get the hit. So this is where he has to be wise when he's going for the 3rd foul. He can't just leave the cue ball next to the 2 but leave a bank on. Well, he might as well have done, because that's what I think he has done. I mean, that's not difficult to hit. If you're going to try and get the 3 fouls, you have to get, 3 good safeties. And this one's not quite as good. Now that line, if he goes where he's going there, can come off the bottom rail and onto it. But not the top side of it like that. And he's still got a lifeline. Although that 8 ball... Is he trying to draw into it? Yes, he is. I needed a lot more juice in it than that. Again, this has to be a good shot from Mal, because he's going to bring the 2 off the rail. He needs to get cover. And I think he has done. And of course, Matt can't resort to the old jump cue escape technique because he ain't got one, but he can still jump with with his own cue, not the house cue. He can still jump with his cue if he fancies it. Now, again, Mal with a similar shot if he wants to skim the 2 and try and rest over towards the 6. Is he trying to knock the 8 in? Well, that's gone really awkward. How do you like this for a shot when you're trying to stay in the match? 2 balls beyond the pocket, and if you try and run it into the top pocket, unless you get really lucky, you're going to scratch. He's trying to lock behind the 8. Hasn't got that cover, but he hasn't left a lot on. So Matt clinging on by his fingernails here at the moment. But there's an inevitability about this. It's just a matter of time. And again, he hasn't got there. Although, yeah, oh, that was all out for the combo for the match. And would you believe it, Matt's left it safe. Give the guy a bone, or throw him a bone, as they say in the States. And that might be it. So Mal, I don't think Mal's going to go for the combo here. He's because it's a chip along the rail. It's not easy that to chip it in. So he's going for the run out. Well, this is just a wee bit tricky, and he's trying to stun down just a wee bit, pinching a slight angle. Ended up a lot easier than it first looked. We'll have a quick look at the bracket before we call it quits. That can allow anybody that's interested to just get updated and how the draw has panned out. And also a quick look at a couple of the results that have gone through earlier, or last night, or whenever they were played. Well, he diced with death there, but it's chipped in off the 9. And so Mal, very comfortably, his nerves haven't been tested, and it's a comfortable win by 18 racks to 8. And so Mal is through to round 3. And of course it is double elimination. Matt's got enough time now to dial in his mouse and get ready for his next match. So well done to Mal. Let's have a quick look, and we'll do a quick refresh. So we'll start from the top. We've got Shibu against Ice Age. Shibu, of course, is in Serbia. Ice Age is down in Australia. They've had to rearrange their match a couple of times. It's now set for 12 minutes past 1 tomorrow afternoon. Well, I may well still be at work then anyway, because I don't finish usually till 2 on a Monday, so that match can go ahead. Jose is waiting to play the winner of that match. We've got Bill now in the one-loss side. Albinario has taken Bill out by 18 racks to 11 in round 2, and the match we've just seen there. Snake Eyes to play Larry. Popman won his match last night against Jover by 18 racks to 16. I thought Popman had a half-decent lead when I glimpsed in last night, but he must have went back to his 15-foot Q action to only end up winning by 2. And then Popman now plays Smoking Sid. Cobra to play LS3, which may well be at 7 PM whenever that is, I don't know, but you were talking about it in the chat. Cheeky Chico to play Mr. Strokum. Linus is to play Tornado Tam. Jeeves is to play Squirter in the first round. The winner of that plays Billy Big Rigger. And Sergresh into round 3. And Simanx against Bankster. Now, we saw Bankster on Friday night 9-ball, and I would put Bankster down as a favourite in that match, because again, although he's not going to have a handicap, he's going to be tough opposition for Simanx, because he can pot a ball and he uses common sense for the most part of what I've seen. That is for I don't know when that is. June the 24th is what, 5 days away, 6 days away, and it's at 5 p.m. And then Hazard in round 2 against Christian. Hazard should win that comfortably. Acero against Tommy Yu. Now that should be a good match. So it should, but of course Acero is down in Japan. Tommy Yu in Germany, or at least he is German. Whether he stays there, I don't know. But it's there's a fair time difference as well. And semi-pro to play Bedhead. Well, there's a hot shot match for a round 2 match. And Quagmire against Mooncake. Spectre Dawn played Shaft Tracks earlier today. Comfortable win for Spectre Dawn by 18 racks to 6. And, well, nothing taking shape at all because it's only just started. So that is it, folks. It's the start of yet another tournament, this time without you-know-who. We'll see how it goes, and I'll hope to maybe get 1 or 2 more matches. So until we meet again, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks all for watching, and I'll bid you good night.